Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning. I am Robin, and behind the controls, normally over here, but now over there,
For now.
is Bill, and Duke is
And
on his
Duke.
lap. And we
Daisy.
are coming to you from Raincross Farms Makery in beautiful Idaho.
He wants to be
and
on
he
camera,
wants to get in
apparently.
here. So we got to get Duke in the picture. He is a camera ham. So welcome, welcome. Come on in, join us. I'm going to kind of get this up on my phone if I can. Hello, baby. Yes. Okay. Ken is watching. Amanda's watching. Welcome. And just a little reminder, a little update. We currently have 583 followers. Our goal by New Year's Eve is 1,000. So if you are not following our page, we would love it if you would. If you're on your phone, click my forehead and it'll pop up Raincross Farms Makery. Pop on that and you'll have the option to follow or set up notifications there. So again, we'd love to have you be part of our first 1,000. So welcome, welcome. Let me put this aside. We are coming to you with kind of a new setup, and I'm not seeing, here we go.
We had a very unsuccessful start of this last night, and so we worked on it last night.
Ken likes it.
Hopefully it'll
Welcome,
work.
Suzanne. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Sue. Yes, we stayed up into the wee hours of 10 o'clock last night.
Hi, Suzanne.
working
and Cindy.
working on our new setup, but we do need to get moving because I have a very fun project and it's going to take a while and you are not going to be able to be on my lap, buddy. So off you
Come on
go.
over here, buddy boy.
Okay, let me give you just a little bit of background. I have a really good friend. Her name is Rosie, and she lives in Southern California, where we lived for most of our lives. And she is such a generous soul. She has been, for the last several years, putting together a project where she collects bright and colorful pillowcases and donates them to the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, the pediatric ward. And you can imagine being a child in the hospital is scary and very sterile environment, and so this is her way of helping brighten their days. And so she has collected from her friends pillowcases, handmade pillowcases. She has lots of quilters and whatnot. And this is the first year I have volunteered to participate and make a pillowcase. And I figured if I have to make a pillowcase, I'm coming live and I'm going to show you how to make one of these pillowcases. They're called magic pillowcases, and you'll see why, because they really are kind of magical in how they come together. If you can sew a straight line, you can make one of these, I guarantee. So we'll go through it step by step. I will tell you about the supplies, but if you would like to have your own copy of the supplies, if you will type pillow in the comments, my bot should send you a link to the Google form, not the Google form, the Google Doc, where you can get the supply list. Okay, I'm missing a whole bunch of comments. So,
Well, I'm going to try to keep them up, but
okay.
hey,
So,
Ken, and
and there's Rosie. Yes, Rosie Bister. She's in the house.
Rosie, would you post your information if other people want to donate pillowcases like this? Let them know how to get a hold of you. How do we contact you to let you know? And thank you for sprinkling, Melissa.
And if you're not comfortable doing that, people can just comment Rosie and I will get you in touch with her if you'd like to participate with her. If you would like to, you have hospitals and you have nursing homes all around you also. So if you would like to do something more locally, contact them and see if they will accept donated pillowcases.
Thank you, Beverly and Melba.
But even if you don't donate them, I'm going to make some to donate, and I think I'm going to make some as Christmas gifts too, because they're so easy and they're so gorgeous and you feel like such a professional. So let's get moving so I don't run out of time. You will need 3 different fabrics. the main fabric is whatever you choose to be. I picked some dogs, some bright Christmassy dogs, because I thought
Or Duke.
kids like dogs. So you need 100% cotton. 44 to 45 inches wide is the standard for cotton. 100% cotton, and you will need just under a yard of this. I believe it's 7/8 of a yard, and you'll cut this for a standard size pillowcase. You'll cut this to 28 inches long. So 28 inches long this way by the width of whatever the fabric is there. So that's your main color, 28 inches. If you want a king size pillowcase, you would want the full yard and you would cut it at 36 inches. Okay. Then next you'll need another color, contrasting, complementary. This is for the cuff. And this is 10 inches wide by the width of the fabric. So 10 inches, which is roughly a third of a yard, just under a third of a yard. You might have scraps laying around of this. So something that kind of contrasts with your main fabric. And then you'll need an accent piece. And you just need 2 inches of this. So like the smallest they will sell you, 1/8 of a yard, I believe. Okay, so this is 2 inches and it's the width of the fabric. Now this I took and I folded it in half with the right sides out. So I basically just have a 1-inch strip. If you wanted to do like a shortcut, you could get 1-inch ribbon and it would work just as well. It doesn't have to be fabric. You could use 1-inch ribbon for this. Okay, so those are the fabric requirements that you need. Again, if you want them written down, you can either replay the video or type pillow in the comments and I'll send you a link to the supply list. Okay, to put this together, this is where you need to pay close attention because this is where the magic happens. You're going to start with your piece that is the cuff or the complementary. And if it's two-sided, you're going to want the right side, the pretty side facing up. This doesn't matter. It's the same either way. So you're going to lay that down, and you probably can't see the entire width of this, but I'll try to show you. Okay, then you're going to take your little 1-inch accent piece, and you're going to lay that down, and you're just going to match up those top edges, and it's okay. You can kind of see my fabric doesn't match up. Manufacturers aren't totally consistent across the board. It won't matter. Our measurements are generous enough that we can trim that off without any problem. Then you're going to take your main fabric.
Good morning, Patty and Cheryl.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry we're not greeting you. Melba, welcome. I'm looking across.
There's a few others here too.
Okay. I'm sorry. I want to get this done, so I'm not spending as much time greeting people as ordinarily. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to take this and you're going to kind of decide if it has a direction. You might want to decide, do I want the direction going down into the cuff or up from the cuff? It doesn't really much matter on the pillowcase. It's just your personal preference. So then we're going to lay this down. So we're going to kind of sandwich this thin little strip in between my other two layers. Now this side, the pretty side, goes down. So all the pretty sides are hidden away. And I'm going to stretch this out, and then I'm going to do just a temporary pin because I've got one more step, and then pinning that. So always pin your fabrics when you sew. You think you're going to hold them straight and you don't. So I'm going to pin it. I'm eventually going to pin it every 6 inches, but this is kind of like a basting pin to start with. So I'm going to line up those edges, and my edges are kind of fraying a little bit. That's okay. You are not going to see a single frayed edge in this entire pillowcase if you do it correctly, which is just awesome. You know how when you put things through the wash and they don't have a completely finished edge, and then you have all those strings? None of that on this. And let me tell you, if you donate them to a hospital or a facility like that, they are going to very much appreciate that. Okay, so I've got this all pinned, just held together at the top. Now watch this, because this is important. Lay it out. Then I'm going to come down here at the very end here, and I'm going to start rolling it up. Just a real thin roll. Hopefully this is showing on the camera. So I'm rolling, 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 rolling. I won't sing for you.
That's okay. You're welcome to sing along.
Okay.
I'm actually doing a
I'm-
dance here
so
with
I'm
you,
rolling.
trying to-
Okay. Oh, there's my comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
there. Just
So
move
I'm
it.
rolling this up a little bit more than halfway, but not all the way up to the top. I want to leave those pins exposed. And we are going to take the rest of this cuff here and fold it over, kind of like a, I don't know, taco burrito or something. Some people call these burrito pillows, burrito pillowcases. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to repin all of these layers. So I have the two sides of the cuff, the thin strip, and then the main fabric, all sandwiched in here. Okay. This is the longest part of the entire process. After this, it's going to sew up pretty quick and easy. And again, you're going to be amazed. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, be asking the questions. I'll try to keep an eye on it.
Okay.
Uh-oh. We might be
Hopefully we're not having glitches.
having a little bit of glitches here. Looks like we're dropping some frames. It's probably our internet. We've been having a little bit of issue with that today, last night and today.
That's not good. Okay. So tell me, have any of you made one of these before? This is not my original creation. There are probably 100 different videos on YouTube to make these. So I don't know who the first person was that figured it out, but bless their soul, because these are just beautiful. Okay.
Rosie just posted her number if anybody's
Awesome.
interested
Wow.
in helping. She's in the comments under Rosie Bister, and she's posted her phone number, so you can text her for more info.
Okay. So if you'd like to help her out with her project, contact her. And I'm sure she would not mind if you decided to help out somewhere locally close to you. That would be awesome too. Okay, so I've got this all. Oh, I keep forgetting I have an overhead camera now. Okay, so I have all of these little pins here. Now I'm going to run this through my machine, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Unfold it on the end, right under the camera one more time. So the end of it, so you can see how it's sandwiched together.
Oh, okay.
Just that end piece.
Here, here's a better piece. Okay, so this is what we've got. I've got the cuff on the outside. Here's the little thin strip, and then here is that main fabric all rolled up. Hope you can see that. Okay, I'm going to move over. Try not to shake the table too much. I'm going to move over my sewing machine just enough to get it in the camera, and do this pretty quickly. Where's my foot control? Okay, and again, hope I'm not missing your comments. If it seems like we're ignoring you, keep asking.
We are doing multiple things today. No, I think we're doing good.
Okay, so I've got it at different, sewing machines are different. I've got it at a pretty small stitch width. mine is 12. Sometimes they use like a 0 to 4 scale. Mine is on like 12 stitches per inch. And again, a 1/4 of an inch, which is generally the width of your presser foot, unless you have an older machine. So just a 1/4 of an inch, just a straight seam. Get my pins. And I don't know how loud this will be. I apologize. I'm using my childhood Kenmore sewing machine.
Hello from Minnesota.
That is a workhorse.
Renee, nice to have you.
You're welcome. We are making magic pillowcases. The reason I'm making this is because my good friend is collecting them from her friends to donate to Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. So since I have to make one, not have to, since I am making one, I'm going to show you how to make one. And maybe you can find someone to donate to. You can find Rosie's comment in the chat, and you can contact her if you'd like to donate with her. Or you can just make these, and you can make these for your friends and family. Such a wide variety of fabrics in the fabric store. You could make pillowcases for all seasons. Make them, instead of Christmas jammies, you could make Christmas pillowcases.
You know, not too long ago, you showed people how to use a pillowcase for a
Santa
gift bag.
Santa sack, yes. So it could start out as a Santa sack. Okay, so I'm just removing my pins as I go. Sewing tip, don't run over your pins, that will dull your needle. Dull needles make for poor sewing. Do I sound like Mrs. Schoeneman? I sound like Mrs. Schoeneman. Does anybody out there know Mrs. Schoeneman?
Who is Mrs. Schoeneman?
Mrs. Schoeneman was my high school home ec teacher. And that I just dated myself because I don't think high schools have home ec anymore.
I took home ec out of my high school when I was teaching in 2004, I think it was.
Okay, so
Too bad.
trim my threads as I go. And now let me show you. This is kind of the magical part. You're wondering why I've got this all rolled up and sandwiched in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just start pulling this out.
So you're turning it inside out as you go.
Well, I'm turning it, yes, inside out. Right side, actually right side out.
Right side out, yeah.
Okay? So, and it's not too difficult to do once you get it going. And this is, are you ready to be amazed?
I'm amazed already.
Ready to be amazed. What's my time? Okay, I'm doing good. Okay, so I've got it all out. Pull that out, unroll it. And look at this. Look at this. All the seams are enclosed. So far, we're not done. All the seams are enclosed. You've got that beautiful strip, that accent strip there. It's just awesome.
Let's go to this
Awesome.
camera. Show it again how you had it up there in a moment ago. Yeah, and you can hold it down on the table.
Okay.
We're still learning how to do all this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks
So beautiful. Okay, and all of those seams are on the inside. So next, remember I told you the fabrics come in different lengths. We're going to clean that up right now so you can see this one was longer. So what I'm going to do, this will all show. I'm going to line this up. I'm just going to kind of square it up. And it's helpful if you have one of these mats that has markings so you can make sure it's squared. So I'm lining this up. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong, Rosie. And then I'm
So,
going to.
Are you doing this on the reverse side, or is it folded over? How are you doing it?
It doesn't matter because I'm just trimming it. I could do it inside out, outside in. So I'm going to remove all of these extra edges, and you see how it kind of has some printing there. I don't want that in there. So I'm going to line this up so that it's square, and I'm going to, you can use scissors. I'm going to use my rotary blade. And
Hi, Diane. Nice to have you.
And
I'm just from Nevada.
I'm just going to trim that off and try not to cut my finger off on live Facebook. Throw my scraps away. So I've got that side cleaned up, nice and straight. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. See, this one's even worse. This green fabric is a couple inches longer than all the others. That's okay. Our measurements allow for it. So I'm going to line that. I'm just going to fold that in half. Line this up. Square it off.
I got to read a couple of these for you.
Okay.
Patty says, OMG, when I took sewing to my home ec, now you know how old she is, my teacher told me she felt sorry for me.
Oh, that's so sad.
Very nice. Not much of a teacher doing that.
Yeah, and look at you now. Okay, so I just removed all of that excess. So it's nice and straight. Again, you don't have to use a rotary cutter. You can just do it with scissors. Okay, so next, in the perfect world, I would be taking this over to my ironing board, and I would be pressing this flat. I would stretch it, not stretch it, but I would pull it tight so that the seams are not folded over on each other, and I would press that nice and flat. And I happen to have one already pressed. Okay, at this same point.
Melissa says she likes the cute cloth.
Yeah.
Kathy says, wow, I'm going to buy fabric and sew with you on a replay.
Good, good.
That's
Please
a great
do.
idea. Hey, you know, mark replay when you do that, when you watch it. Just click on replay. It helps our numbers. That's honestly, let's just be honest about it.
Okay,
That's
to
what-
finish up, now we're going to do French seams on the inside. Ooh la la, doesn't that sound fancy? It's not all that fancy. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it in half, pillowcase like, but I'm going to keep the nice side out, the right side out. It's kind of counterintuitive if you are a sewer. Normally you put the right sides together, but for French seams, we start with the right sides out, the wrong sides touching, and I'm going to just pin down the side and across the bottom. And I'm going to line up that that little band. So I'm putting my pin in right there, and then making sure it comes right out in the same spot on the back. So I know that is lined up. We want when it turns the corner, we want it to be a nice smooth transition. And I'm just going to pin this. These are a lot less layers here to pin. And we're rounding second. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but again, please feel free to watch the replay. And I think once you see it, you'll go, oh, okay, I get it. I get the idea. I made one of these. It took me, it probably took me less than an hour, and that was the first time I'd ever made one. And actually, I probably could have made more of them within that same hour if I'd cut them all out at the same time, because that's kind of a, factory work. So I've got this pinned all down this side and all down the bottom. And again, I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam straight down and straight across the bottom.
Well, it might be better if I focused in on it.
And I back tack just a bit at the very beginning so my threads don't come undone.
When you pull that out, pull it up and lay it out so we can see how big the seam was.
Okay.
Because I don't have a way to zoom in on that.
Okay. And again, pulling out the pins as you go. I didn't do that for a lot of years, and I don't know how many needles I have dulled. Now, when you get over this band, it gets kind of thick because there's quite a few layers. So just slow down a bit, and it'll all work out. I want you to know I'm living in fear that my machine will unthread itself. and then I won't be able to rethread it with my old eyes on live Facebook.
Thank you, Diane. Uh,
Yes, feel free to sprinkle this video to your friends, anyone who might be interested in making a darling pillowcase. And you can see I haven't done anything really fancy other than a straight stitch at 1/4 inch. And you know, it's great if your seams are straight, but it's a little forgiving.
Well, it's so focused on watching what you're doing, she just noticed your shirt.
Oh.
So pretty.
I was trying to decide what to wear because apparently on one of our lives, we kind of had a plaid attack. And he was wearing a plaid and I was wearing a plaid and we were working with a plaid project and it was just awful. So now I have to think, what's my project? What should I wear? Okay, so when I got to the end, I put the needle down and then lifted up the presser foot and pivoted it, and then I'm just gonna continue on across the bottom.
She remembers learning how to make a French seam in high school, but hasn't made one since.
French, it's not a big deal. It's just doing it twice.
And Cheryl says her eyes are the reason she bought the machine with the auto threader.
Yes, and I have a machine. Honestly, I have a fancy embroidery machine that does the self-threading and all of that. And then I put it away for a couple of years, and I'll be darned, I can't remember how to do the embroidery part of it. And I took classes and everything, and so it's sitting in the basement waiting for me to relearn.
You said you were going to show how big that seam was. Again, you can just do it low. Just right there is fine.
So right there, in fact, I kind of used green thread because it matches the cuff. It's just 1/4 inch, but we're not going to keep it at 1/4 inch. We're going to trim it. Now you can trim it with a rotary trimmer, or you can just trim it with some scissors. You're going to cut about half of that off. Not super, super close. Looks like we're losing signal. Yeah. Not super close, but about 1/8 inch. And we're just going to trim that.
Well, when we put this up on the replay, if you go back and watch it on the replay, it should be smooth.
Hopefully okay.
Because I'm recording as we go, so we'll just post the recording instead of the live.
So just go slow. So you don't want to cut through the seam you just sewed, but you're pretty much cutting that seam in half from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. And it helps if you throw your scraps away as you go. Otherwise your craft room is a huge mess, even messier than it ordinarily is, speaking for myself. Okay, and again, up the side.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay, how many of you are going to go out and make pillowcases? Hopefully a bunch. Okay, great to donate. Not only children's hospital wards, but nursing homes, rest homes, a punch of color to brighten up someone's day. For a facility, you might need to check and see what their specifications are. Generally, it is just they want 100% cotton, and I know they like it that it doesn't have fraying edges. Okay, so I've got that down to now 1/8 inch seam. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it inside out. And we're going to do the exact same thing again. And I'm going to poke out my corners. You could use a pencil. Careful your fabric that it's, you're not marking up your fabric, but I'm just going to kind of poke out my corners so that they're sharp. Now this next step, I'm not going to show you because it would take a lot of time. You're going to take this seam and you're going to press it. You're going to push it. You're going to kind of roll it open so that it's it's as open as it can be, and then you're going to press it. You don't want it like this. Hope that shows. You don't want a big old gap like that. Okay? So you're going to open it up as tight as you can, and you'll press it. So we're going to pretend that I pressed it, and then I'm going to go back through and I'm going to pin again. Now I've got just that 1/8 of an inch seam allowance inside where all my frayed edges are. I will continue pinning all the way down after I've pressed it, and then I will sew another 1/4 inch seam all along there. So that 1/4 inch seam will be encasing that 1/8 of an inch seam from the inside. Does that make sense? So I've already got this done. So let me show you. So I took it. This one you don't trim, and I've got now inside there is that 1/8 inch, and I've sewn all along here just 1/4 of an inch, and that is the French seam. So inside are all those frayed edges. They're all inside, hidden away, so that when you turn it inside out, voila, voila,
Voila.
voila.
Voila, she
So
says.
you poke out the corners with whatever your preferred poking tool is.
Preferred?
You could use your scissors, but make sure they're not super sharp points, or you will slice right through your fabric. And here we have our finished pillowcase. Is that not gorgeous? Super professional. Let me move this out of the way. Super duper professional. Amazing. Are you amazed?
I'm amazed.
I'm gonna stop for a minute and check some comments.
I'm
Oh,
looking
we're
for
way behind.
questions.
I'm gonna go back through and read your comments.
Got,
Okay. Newbie from Nevada.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm way behind here.
Rosie says, for my friends that don't have time to sew but would
Oh.
like to donate, that's always
Awesome.
helpful too.
Great. Good idea. Okay. Thank you so much, Rosie. You are such an inspiration. And I've got 3 pillowcases that I've got one I'm going to completely finish up, and then I will get these in the mail to you. But I'm going to go extra because we are extra. And I am an independent designer for Chalk Couture. So I'm going to show you how you can dress this
Hey.
up a little bit
Yeah.
with Chalk Couture. So I've got this beautiful pillowcase, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to use our ink and put something right here on the cuff? And I think we have a perfect transfer. These are called holiday sayings, and I think they fit perfectly on that cuff. Let me show you what they have. There is one that says believe,
Let me get that in front here. There we go.
and
It's
one that
upside
says good time. Am I upside down?
No, you're doing fine with
okay.
that camera, but the other camera, it's upside down. That's
Okay.
okay. Just go.
Okay.
We're fine.
Anyway, okay. Good tidings, rejoice. But the one I wanted to use on this, because I thought it would be appropriate, is peace and joy. I thought little young children, maybe not even young, teenagers even, older people, you're in the hospital, you're worried, you're scared, you're sad. Don't they need peace and joy? So I'm going to take this transfer and I'm going to use our ink, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is a sparkly silver all through this. So I'm going to use our silver shimmer ink to apply this. So I'm going to start with my ink mat. Okay, this is our ink mat. It's a lot like a Cricut mat. It's sticky, it's just plastic. It is just so if the ink happens to bleed through
In this case,
it traps it here.
Yeah, you've got 2 layers of material. It wouldn't bleed through, but you still need that stiff surface to not move.
Oh, before I do this, I'm going to find my center. Oh, no.
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 Crazy woman.
Sorry. Okay, so find my center, put a pin in it.
Oh, looks like we're having another issue.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to find out what's going on with our internet because it's been giving me problems last night and today.
Okay, let me see. One side is slightly wider. Okay, this is half of one of our ink mats. It's actually twice as long. Okay, if you don't have an ink mat and you want to do this same thing, you certainly can. You can use a Cricut mat that's sticky, or you could just use a piece of cardboard. I like the sticky because it holds the fabric in place, so it doesn't shift around. And I'm just pushing it down. And then I'm going to take our transfer. These are adhesive silkscreen reusable transfers, so this can be reused 10 to 12 times if you take good care of it. And inside, where you don't see the green, is a fine mesh screen.
Let me shift.
He's
Just a
gonna
second here.
blow that up.
You can see
So
that.
it's a
There you
fine
go.
mesh screen, which is what gives us such awesome detail when we do this. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I don't need to fuzz this because I'm putting it on fabric. I'm going to kind of see, kind of pinch where my center is.
Now, just so you know, Melba said she would love to know more about chocolate joy for doing shirts for her grandchildren.
Awesome.
So that's actually what we spend a lot of our time working on, is exactly this. So follow and you'll see a whole lot of things.
If you are interested, if you want to visit our chalk shop online or any of that, you can type the word shortcut, and my bot will send you. It's an interactive page where you can click on shop our shop, or find our Facebook page, or join our club. So if you comment shortcut, it will give you that link. Okay, so I'm pushing this down so that it's adhered to my fabric, and I'm going to use our Chalkology ink, which is a chalk-based, water-based ink meant for fabric. And I'm going to actually show you how to do it with heat set it with just a household iron. So I've got Chalkology ink, and this is our silver shimmer. Let me open it up. Yesterday I got it. No, it was the gold that I got it to sparkle online. So it is a pretty silver, and it's got like mica flakes or something in there that give it just a shimmer. And I thought that would match that silver accent on the fabric. So I'm going to take one of my squeegees and put a little bit of ink on this. And I'm just going to take this and drag it across that screen. When I'm doing fabric and ink, I want to just go in one direction. I don't want to go up and down and side to side. I want to minimize any bleeding through, but because these are adhesive, there's very little bleeding that goes on.
Melba, I'm not sure if that is working or not, because it should have popped up even on mine, but don't worry, we will get back to it as soon as the video is over.
If the bot doesn't send you the link, I will go through the comments and I will personally send them. Okay. So again, I'm just applying this down over the screen, and then I'm scooping up any of the excess, putting it back in my jar so I can use it again. This 3-ounce jar will last me just short of forever. Okay, so clean that off. I'm going to put that aside, put my lid back on, and check my fingers, because if there's any ink, on my fingers and I get it on here, it's going to be permanent. Okay, and then watch this magic. Are you
We're watching.
Okay.
We're watching.
Watch this magic. Look at that.
Oh, how exciting.
Is that not awesome? Am I not an artist?
Yeah. Yes, you are. Come on, dude. You can come up.
Okay. So, do I have time to finish? Yes, I have time to finish this. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on just a dish drying cloth, and I'm going to spray it with water just so that I'm not quite ready to clean it yet. So I don't want the ink to dry in the screen. So I'm going to set that aside. And to make our ink permanent, I need to heat set it. Ordinarily, we would wait 24 hours, at least overnight, to let this ink kind of dry on its own. It's not completely set yet. I'm going to remove this, but you don't want to wait overnight. We want to get this heat set. So I'm just going to use my little quick dry tool, which is basically a blow dryer, and I'm going to get this just dry to the touch. And then I'm going to show you how we can heat set it. I won't have to do once this is heat set, I don't have to do anything different with laundering. It's whatever the fabric requires. I don't have to pull it out of the dryer or pull it out before it goes in the dryer. I can wash it, dry it, hot water, hot heat, and it's permanently set as long as I do the heat setting part correctly. Okay. So I'm making sure it's pretty much dry to the touch. And now I'm going to show you how you can heat set it. I'm going to get my heat pad so I don't melt my mat. And I'm going to get some parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper. And I'm going to lay it down over the top of this. This is to protect my iron so that if any of the ink transfers off, I don't get it on the base of my iron. Now I'm just using it's a Steam Fast. It's from Walmart. They also have them online. It's just a tiny little mini iron. And to heat set this, I'm going to set it, not screaming hot, I'm going to set it to no steam, medium high. And I'm just going to keep moving over this for about 4 minutes. Probably won't do the whole thing right here, but you want to keep it moving because the irons that have steam have those little vents in it. And if you just held it in place, it would probably steam in some of those holes. You don't want to do that. So I'm just going to run this over.
Not steam in.
Not steam.
You're not using any
No,
steam.
you're not using any steam. Completely dry iron.
It
But
just
it
shows
has the steam holes.
Yeah.
And if I just held it in place, it would leave those marks on the fabric. Now I don't need pressure like when you're doing heat transfer vinyl where you need a little bit of pressure. I don't really need pressure. I just need the heat. So I would continue with this for about 4 minutes and then it would be heat set. If you have a Cricut Easy Press, you can do that for 350 degrees for 30 seconds. Boom, you're done. Okay. So again, 4 minutes. I'm not going to spend all that time here, and you'll be able to tell that it no longer feels tacky when it cools off. And I can tell it already doesn't. I'll go back over for another couple minutes. But again, there we have a beautiful pillowcase. This is standard size. You can also make it a little bit longer for king size. I'm making this to donate to Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. I encourage you to maybe find a place, either check out Rosie's information and help her out, or find a place local to you and make a donation of some really cute pillowcases, and then get yourself busy and make some for your friends and family. You could even sell them for craft fairs. I do caution you with trademarked materials and all that, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I feel like I have talked nonstop for 45 minutes, which is nothing new for me, having been a teacher. And hopefully you are not acting like some of my former students out there in the audience. But I hope I showed you, I hope I inspired you to do something. I hope I showed you how you could add to it with some of our chalk products. Again, I'm an independent designer for Chalk Couture. If you comment pillow in the comments, you will get a link, and it will take you to the Google Doc for this supply list. So it gives you the measurements of what you need and the supplies you need. It doesn't give you the steps. You'd have to rewatch the video, but it gives you the supply list, or if you just want to take a screenshot. And it also has a link to the chalk and ink supplies that I used on this, if that's something that you are interested in. So thank you for joining us. We have loved showing you this idea, and if you make some, send us pictures. I'd love to see your pillowcases, and I'd love to see how many Rosie collects this round. She's continuously doing it all seasons. So again, thanks for hanging with us on Wednesday morning. Please spread this video out to anyone that you think would be interested. Like and follow our page. And I will be monitoring the comments. So if you have any questions, please ask. I will follow up on the bot. And I think we are done for now. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week with Craft Round the Clock and Raincross Farms Makery. We are on every day in the month of November. So follow our page and you will get notifications if you sign up for them. So again, thanks. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.